Yeah, very big welcome to you, my dear Pisces. So the sun is now in Gemini, giving the light to the moon, which is when we look at the moon in your sign. We have the sixth major arcana, which is the hexagram, and as such then the union that we create between the water and the fire, the masculine and the feminine. And here I have King Pigeon pose, so that we can really open ourselves up to this incredible union that we need to find first and foremost within ourselves. You are the 18th major arcana, and as such you have, through the Roman number, the number 10, the Wheel of Fortune, the number 5, the Hierophant, and the number 3, which is the Empress, altogether the 18. So the Wheel of Fortune is turning, and you learning through the 5 senses to come again and again into the triangle, into the union, into what a triangle means, right? To get the bird perspective, to see from above, right? The duality happening in the first 2 connections, and then we get the triangle up to that one bird eye perspective. So here we have, of course, Gemini, an air sign, bringing you an understanding of what true love really means. And you are here through Osho Zen Tarot, connected with the past lives, and we see 2 hands forming a vagina, and here we see how we come again and again into this world so that we can learn. When I calculate the 18 together, I get the 9, and that's the completion. That is Virgo, which is your opposite sign, that is giving you the light for your full moon in the month of September. And so it's important for you to understand, when we go to the right, we go to the full moon, we go extroverted to the opposite sign. When we read to the left, we go to the new moon, we go back to when sun and new moon are both in your sign. And you just had your new moon, and so the path is outwards again to the full moon. So this is the combination that is happening today, right? Today, the sun in Gemini and the moon in your sign. Your yoga position is always fish pose plus the upward and the downward facing dog. One dog looks into this dimension and the other dog is already able to see the higher dimensions. So this just to sun and moon, and I've changed my reading style, and we're gonna look into the sun from the perspective of Gemini, but we're also gonna look into Mercury, because Gemini is ruled by Mercury, and Mercury is the magician here in the Osho Tarot, the existence, the number 1, right? Then we're gonna look into the moon, because the moon is in your sign and you are the moon card, right? And so we're gonna see what the moon in your subconscious is wanting to tell you. But we're also gonna look at Neptune, because Neptune is ruling you, and Neptune is the Hanged Man, which is here in your deck, the new vision. And so we have 4 stations, and in the center the 5th, which is you, which is then the Knight of Cups. And here in Osho you are the trust. You trusting very clearly that you are able to take the jump into love, because you are, as the Pisces, the dreamer, right? And as a dreamer, you understand that this flying dream that you maybe have, right, is a reality of the soul. Then you also connected, of course, with the 12th house of spirituality and art. And so here the 12 is a very important number, and the 12 is also the Hanged Man, right? The Hanged Man is here the new vision. And so there is a very clear connection right now through Neptune. And so I just want you to understand how my readings are happening. Then back to the last reading where Taurus Sun gave Pisces Moon the light. Even bitter experiences are important in our lives so that we can learn. Yeah, Taurus was ruled by Venus, and you had the Empress there, right? I can see that. And this time we definitely gonna look through Mercury, which rules Gemini, and Gemini in your deck looks like this, right? So this is Osho Zen Tarot, and this is the Light Seer Tarot. I have listed all the decks that I'm using and their positionings and the dates, everything down below in the description. So here you see that again the union within myself creates then the love that we need to find within ourselves so that we can get the partner that has the same energy, and as such then we create a deep bonding. Good, so we begin with the sun, because the sun is actually now giving the light to the moon, otherwise we wouldn't see the moon, right? And so the sun is bringing you here the ice. And you are icy because you are the winter month, right, in this hemisphere. And so here you are lying underneath the ice, and it looks like you restore yourself. It looks like you are wanting to go deeper within yourself because something happened. And you see the horse, but you also see the number 33, and the 33 is with the 12th house, right? The 3 left, and the 3 is always a triangle, and in that triangle we have below the duality, the 2 points, and on the tip is the higher consciousness. And so the 33 is the degree of mastery that we can reach when we learn the secret brotherhoods tarot, right? Because that's what it is there for. And so you are arriving at a very crucial point here in your life. You are going deep under. You need to clear and cleanse yourself. And we of course have a look at what, and we have here the clarification of this card. You had here the Ace of Wands, which is this robin's egg that is bursting but reverse. And of course when something is reverse, it says this energy of the Ace of Wands, right, it's not really there yet. It's kind of like that creative spark. It's that idea. It's that moment of I recognize something. And in that recognition, you can create art. And that's what the 12th house is, spirituality and art. But it's also an epiphany. It's also a moment of like, oh my God, I get it, right? I understand what's going on here. And so a baby is born from a robin's blue egg, and fire ignites this new life. But reverse, it's saying she can't feel or activate her passion, fire, or creativity. Perhaps she doesn't want to express anger or other strong emotions, or there may be a fear of expressing active sexual energy. Now it makes sense why you're down here. You are, for some reason, not yet accepting that there is a new life wanting to come into your life. So you have the 33 and the 1. I'm not calculating that together, otherwise it would be a 7, right? And the 7 means that you are then understanding the emotional intelligence. So I wanted to see, since the sun is in Gemini, what Gemini is saying through the sun, and the 8 of Swords is coming up here. And now you see what's happening, right? We have the 8 of Swords, which is then, of course, Jupiter in Gemini, and Jupiter is the expansion, and the expansion is blocked. You are blocked, you are for some reason not just recuperating here, you are also actually learning to understand something. Now what's interesting, the 1 and the 8 creates the 9, and the 9 is then again Virgo. Virgo is the Hermit, is then giving you the light for your full moon, and so the 9 and the 33 somehow it brings you the hope that for some reason you're learning to understand that your personality, because that's what the sun is all about, personality. But here Gemini, right, is bringing you a highlight into how you block yourself, because the 8 of Swords is always that kind of like, I feel not really confident, I don't feel ready yet. You see, and what's interesting here, it's not just the 8, it's a 4-4 here in this card, right? Because you do not see the other 4 birds. They're here in her head. And she sees in the mirror, she sees that she creates this bondage. Jupiter in Gemini. And so Gemini is directly talking to you that you are not really accepting here this outburst, right? The sun is actually giving you a clear message. You need to learn to accept that the creative outburst needs to be expressed. Now, Mercury is bringing you the Beloved, and the Beloved is the 2 hands. And I see the 2 hands that are forming here the vagina. And now there is a heart shape inside. And you have the heart here. And so the 5, which is really interesting, is the Hierophant, which is Taurus. So there is a Taurus energy in your life, the Hierophant, the 5 senses. And you are learning to recognize the Beloved. And the Beloved is actually holding this love very clearly. A love that when I turn the card around, you see that this is kind of shaped like a heart, a half part of the heart, and the other half is here, right? So the Beloved. Now, what's talking here, of course, is the Magician, because Mercury is the Magician. And the Magician is the existence, to know that you exist, to know that you are here to live your life. And Mercury brings you the language. And so you need to learn a new language, a love language, the Beloved's language. But I wanted to see what is coming up here, and the 13, Death, is coming here. And 13 is Scorpio, the Death card, right? But reverse. And so when again something is reverse, maybe something is not there anymore. Maybe there's a Scorpio, right, so far that you may be in love with, right? But you see that something is not clear, it's reverse. And in that reverse, you need to learn something. So here the Death Goddess places bones at the base of a birch tree. Carefully she puts the body in the shape of a fetus in a womb. Soon she will be ready for new life. The old one is over. Leaves fall to cover the bones. When it's reverse, death is slow or unconscious. She holds on to a dead form and may not be ready to let go. She may feel numb or stuck. And it's very interesting. It's kind of like what's happened here, right? The reverse. It's like you are not ready to really take on something that is important to you, because you see now that Mercury is bringing you through the Magician an understanding that the beloved is here, but you are not able to really take on the beloved, and that you block yourself. And I wanted to, of course, see what else is talking, and I have one more deck that I'm dedicating to the Magician, which is the Grand Eteia, the Egyptian Tarot, or the Gypsy Tarot. And here comes the Two of Cups. And so here, the Two of Cups, very clear, right, is Venus in Cancer. And back then, Taurus was ruled by Venus. So Venus in Cancer is giving you an understanding that a certain type of love, like this type of love, is sacred, is holy. And so there is the 5, right? There is the 2, which is the 7, the emotional intelligence that we need, Cancer, the Chariot, and the 4, the 13 that we calculate together, right? We get the 11, and the 11 is actually then a portal, and that portal means you are needing to understand that you are having deep within you everything you need to know, the wisdom, the teachings, right, the inner knowledge. And in the 33 degrees we have the 11, the 22, and then the 33. So it's almost saying here the 11 is letting you know that the Magician, he is also a 1. So it's almost like you have 3 times the 1. Empower yourself. Empower yourself by truly letting go, right? Letting someone go that is not meant to be in your life. Have the emotional intelligence to understand that if I calculate here the 5 and the 4, it's the 9. It's again the Virgo, the inner knowing. But I can also calculate the 2 and the 4, which is then the 6, which is the Lovers, right? And of course the 5 and the 2 is the 7. Altogether we have the 11. And so the Magician, right, Mercury, is letting you know you exist by understanding how we let go, understanding that when we love purely from deep within, there is something, because the 1 and the 5 is the 6, right? And here the 4 and the 1 is a 5, and the 2 and the 1 is a 3, right? So I can add to all of that, to the 11, the 1 of here, the Magician, and we get the 12, which is again the 12th house of spirituality and art, right? Let the art come out of you. Don't block it. Don't hold it. Don't feel imprisoned, right? Don't feel that you don't belong. You do belong. It's important that you understand that. It's important that you see that. There is something that is letting you know that the Sun, which is here in Osho's tarot deck, I'm just gonna get you the Sun so you see what the Sun is telling you through Osho's deck, right? Because I mean, the Sun here, it's kind of just a symbol of the Sun, but the Sun in Osho's deck is the 19, is the innocence. And so the innocence is coming through this outburst of ideas. I'm just gonna do it like this, like we had it before. Sorry. Right? You have this outburst and you supposed to accept it, right? And like I said, you have the 33 and then the 9, And interesting enough, this is the 19, the innocence to see that you are getting creative, but you are blocking yourself and somehow you're frozen. The 33, which is actually not a portal that is blocking you, but it's actually supposed to be a portal that is actually making out of you a master, and a master can do this. He sits and watches just innocently these creatures, and he's just enjoying the moment. And so this is a 10, right? The 10 and the 9 is again the 19. So the sun is telling you something really important here. Allow to free yourself, right? And then, of course, in the 19, the 10 appears a new cycle is wanting to be lived, because the 1, and then we come to the 10, it's like a 1 and a 0. Be crazy enough to outburst your creativity. Show what you have, show what you got, right? And then you understand here the 11. The 11, right, is important. The inner teacher knows what to do with it, and so here you are, and recognizing the combination here. Then we look into the Hanged Man. So the Hanged Man, or Neptune, which rules you, brings you here this blue Achat, and it's the number 10. And so Neptune, right, I show you Neptune one more time, brings you the dreams, brings you the mental state, and in the tarot it's of course the Hanged Man. And the Hanged Man is of course just right before enlightening. And when we right before an enlightened state, the blue Achat is letting you know that now you accept peacefully that something is changing, something is shifting. The letting go of stress, or stress-less letting go, right? Or the letting go of the dramas. No more dramas, no more my life is difficult, my life is unbearable, right? You see a new vision, you envision a new world. And so the 12 is a 3 and the 10 is the 13, and the 13 came right through the reverse of the 13 as a Scorpio. And so the 13 here is letting you know something, that there is a transformation happening right now. And we of course gonna see what is the Achat really bringing you, and it's bringing you again an 11. And this 11 is letting you know that you understand very clearly that Aquarius is the King of Swords, is here and is helping you to get a new perspective of what's going on. He is the 11th zodiac sign, so there's a 111, right? And we had already here the 11, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times the 1, 6 times the 1, right? Just that you get it. And also here is a 1 from the 19, which is of course then 7 times the 1. You realize more and more that something is here very important that comes to you, but I also wanted to see what is Neptune letting you know through you as the Pisces. And the 2 of stones are coming moment to moment, and the 2 of stones is Jupiter in Capricorn. And so just these 3, we have the 10 and the 2, which is the 12, and the 12 is again you as a sign, right, as the 12th house of spirituality and of course art. And then the 12 and the 11 is the 23, and the 23 creates a 5 here. So the 5 senses, right, that are important for you, the 5 here that is here with the beloved, is giving you an understanding you need to learn, maybe through the help of an Aquarius, maybe through the help of a Scorpio, right? That something here is talking. Something here is letting you know you need to wake up. You need to understand that the drama is not working for you anymore. And it's important, right? Because that's your new vision. That's where the Hanged Man comes in and says, no more. Neptune, no more these dramas, these emotional dramas. And remember, right, Scorpio is ruled by Pluto, and Pluto is going for 20 years into here, Aquarius. And you see how Aquarius is blowing and bringing you the new information so that you can financially take those steps forward to your full moon. And then the moon. The moon is talking and brings you the magician's sword, right? The moon, the subconscious, the moon that is also you, the past lives, right? And we have the 37. And the 3 here is the Empress, and the 7, the emotional intelligence. And the emotional intelligence you got by just these 2 cards, right? The 5 and the 2, the deep love, a soulmate love that has maybe died, has left you. Something happened here, right? We have to look at it like that sometimes, right? Even though we don't like doing that, but something is frozen right deep inside of you. I mean, then comes here in your subconscious that here this magician's sword, the magician that is the existence, and the sword is pointing up at him, creates then a 10. And the 10, like we said, is that new cycle, the one with a new 0, a new one, breaking free, freedom, right, of anything, because we want to wake up, we want to grow, we want to be stronger. And here are your feelings and your subconscious, and it's almost saying you gotta wake up. So I wanted to see what is bringing here this magician's sword through the tarot, and it's the 6 of Wands reverse. So the 10 and the 6 is the Tower, and the Tower is something needs to go, something needs to change. And the 6 is again connected with Gemini here, but the 6 is actually Jupiter in Leo, right? And you had Jupiter in Gemini, a blocked kind of thinking, not free enough. Then you have Jupiter in Leo, a victory, but the victory is reverse, like this card and like this card, right? So far the circular cards have come up all reverse. So observe, right, what's going on, what is really going on. But here the 16 then creates a 7, and the 7 again is the emotional intelligence. So you have here 7 wands, 6 and 1 wand is 7 wands. Remember, 7 is the Chariot, is the success, the emotional success that we need to find deep within us. And the Magician is coming and helping you. And of course I wanted to see what is here Pisces bringing Osho's Zen Tarot, and here comes the 10 of Wands. Oh my God, I mean the wands are really now intense, right? Because you have 10 wands and 6 wands, that's also 16, the Tower, plus one more is 17, and that's the Star, that's Aquarius, which came here with the blue Achat and with the 2 of Pentacles, right? Jupiter in Capricorn. So Jupiter is in Capricorn, in Leo, and in Gemini, and Jupiter is the expansion. You wish to expand financially. You wish to grow exponentially, and something is blocking you. something is not letting you. You feel suppressed, because look at this card. It's also called suppression, right? And so here we have the 6 and the 10, the 16, right? If I do the 10 here and the 6, I also have a 16. So in a way we have a 7 portal here, right? And of course, in the end, when we calculate all together, the 10 and the 6 is the 16, the 16 and the 10 is the 26, and the 26 is the 8. So in the end, there's an 8 left here. The 8 is saying, well, you gotta understand that everything is infinite. The loop of coming and going is speaking here to you, and whatever you feel trapped in, whatever here this reverse energy of the 6 of Wands is bringing you, you can change that, right? So upright, the 6 of Wands is, she is a leader who has risen and taken her place on a wheel of fire. Reverse, she is not able to express her power now. Is something stopping her? Does she lack the confidence? Well, what is stopping your confidence? You feel suppressed, but look what you got. You got the Magician's sword. Wake up and use it, right? Because here we have the 7 and here we have the 10. The 10 and the 7 is the 17, and the 17 is the star, right? And the star is Aquarius. Like I said, Aquarius is here, the 11th zodiac sign, which was the reading before. Maybe Aquarius is playing a part here. Who knows, right? But there can also be a Scorpio that is playing a part here. Always we need to look at everything, because the 10 of Wands is Saturn in Sagittarius, and Sagittarius is like a fire sign. And so learn to see what's talking. Now the last card is you, the Court card, the Knight of Cups, and what is coming up is here the completion. Look at that, the 21. Here you get the 12, which is a 3, the 21, which is a 3. You get the 33. And the 33 is, again, now I think we come back to the sun. Now I think you see the 33, 33. You taking that trust, you see in your third eye, in your inner eye, that something is making sense, that something is clearly waking you up. And you needed to retrieve, to trust again that you can jump, that you, however the position is, when you break yourself free, you can always turn things around, right? It's up to you to really use that awakening. And so here the world is waiting for you to see the completion, and the completion is also the 9, right, of the Virgo, where you get then the full moon, and that's where we're going. And so here the world, the 3, is letting you know that the whole deck that is circling around you, right, Mercury and Neptune, the moon and the sun, today, this moment is a moment where you can awaken to your own power and spread it in the world as much as you can. Spread it in the world and show the world that the third eye, the inner eye, the knowledge of the 6, right? The 6 is the third eye, because when you look close here, you see the hexagram here between them in the third eye, and you see here the 6, which is the 5 and the 1, and it's really interesting. It's the 5 and the 1. The beloved is in the existence. The beloved is in the magician. And so you are really waking up to something really remarkable, right? You are learning that the third eye is the key to awakening yourself. And so here you are. Trust that. Trust your third eye, because it could be also a 6 when I calculate all together. So the 6 is here. You wake up to the third eye, and then you see from a higher perspective the 3 pointing up. You see from above like an eagle that all of this is just perfect the way it is. So enjoy, right, this new vision from the third eye, reaching up into the sky, and know that you are trusting now, finally, that you can trust yourself, and as such inspire the world. I hope I see you in the next reading. That's when we get the sun in Cancer, the Chariot, the emotional success. Until then, I thank you so much for being with me. Namaste.